Hi, I'm making this video because I'd like to share with you a few of my thoughts about why the ethical arguments for veganism cannot be isolated from the health arguments of supporting a vegan lifestyle. Now, what if I were to tell you, as a vegan, assuming you're a vegan like I am, that hey, all you have to do is eat meat, eggs, and dairy, and your risk of diabetes will be cut in half. Your cancer risk will decrease by 19% according to one recent study and 16% according to another. And you also have about a third reduction in heart disease risk. Freaking insects. You'd say, well, I don't know. If you were like me, you're like, I like animals. I don't see any reason to kill the pigs, the cows, the sheep, or more accurately, pay somebody to kill them for me. But I don't know if I'm willing to take that risk. I mean, come on, almost a 20% increased chance of cancer, a third higher increased risk of heart disease, double the risk of diabetes. You got to be kidding me. I don't know. I like animals, but I don't know I can do that for them. I don't know if I could do it. Well, fortunately, you can relax if you like animals like I do, because those numbers are actually the opposite of what I've been saying. It's the animal eaters who have double the risk of diabetes compared to vegans, who have a nearly 20% increase of cancer risk, according to one study, and nearly a third increased risk of heart disease compared to animal eaters, vegetarians, and vegans. So, that's why we can't isolate the ethical argument and the health argument. Fortunately, we don't have to, because the science indicates that vegans are actually healthier. I don't know how else to say it. Lower risk of chronic diseases, lower risk of obesity. According to the diabetes study, the vegan group was the only group that had a BMI within the healthful range, and all other groups were overweight. So, I would be willing to forego eating animals, even if it was neutral, even if it was the same across the board, same cancer risk, same heart disease risk, same diabetes risk. But it's not. It's actually in favor of the vegans. The vegans have lower risk of these things. And this is and I have reason to believe if you supplement B12, your numbers are going to be even better. Your risk is going to be even lower than what these studies indicate. And I say that because in the study that references the 19% lower cancer risk of the vegans and the 1/3 decreased risk of heart disease, although that's the vegetarians mixed in with the vegans in the Epic Oxford, they also found that 52% of the vegans were vitamin B12 deficient, and 7% of the vegetarians were vitamin B12 deficient. Vegetarian meaning they don't eat meat, but they consume eggs and dairy. And then for the animal eaters, meaning people who eat animals' eggs and their animal breast milks, it was less than 0.5% of B12 deficiency recorded. And for depleted, which is still important, I mean, deficiency is bad, but depleted is still bad, and there's no reason why any of us should have even depleted status. It was 1% for the animal eaters, 17% for the vegetarians, and 21% for the vegans. Now, these are important. Why? Because even in the most severe circumstances, B12 deficiency can result in spinal cord degeneration and even death if it's gone untreated for years. However, even in mild circumstances, one's homocysteine levels can increase, which increases the risk of heart disease. Your DNA damage, DNA breaks, could increase, which increases the risk of cancer. So, what if instead all of these vegans in the Epic Oxford were taking B12 supplements as they should? How much bigger would the gap be as far as the heart disease and cancer are concerned with the people who choose to eat animals? How much greater of a risk, greater of a gap between them would that be? The evidence suggests it would be wider. How much wider, we don't know exactly. I don't know exactly. Okay, so that's one part of it. What's the other part? Well, you have places like Authority Nutrition. There's a website, a pro-meat website. And he has one webpage that's entitled 5 Reasons Why Vegan Diets Are a Horrible Idea. And in this, I find it particularly interesting that he says that vegan men have lower testosterone levels, when in actuality, if you actually check his footnotes, he references studies of vegetarian men, and we know that dairy consumption reduces testosterone. The only two studies I could find about comparing vegan men's testosterone level with meat-eating men's testosterone levels is that men had higher testosterone levels. Now, did Authority Nutrition just not research it deeply enough, or did he research it enough and decide that those particular studies, which I've referenced, are not helping his cause? That's for you to decide. And then Authority Nutrition also says that vegans have lower levels and consumption of omega-3s. Now, especially the preformed omega-3s, which are DHA and EPA, and there's another one I can't remember the name of. But why are omega-3s important? Omega-3s are important because the evidence suggests they decrease heart disease risk, and they're good for brain health. Now, what do we know about comparing the brain health of people who eat meat and the brain health of people who don't eat meat? We know that the people who do eat meat have twice the risk of dementia. And as I mentioned earlier, they have an increased heart disease risk. So it's almost like you're buying something that's not doing as good of a job as it could. When the vegan diet, it shows that people who follow vegetarian and vegan diets enjoy greater benefits than people who just supplement omega-3s. So be it. So those are why. Now, why doesn't he choose to mention that, Authority Nutrition? I don't know. Who knows? That's for you to decide. And I think that's about all I have to say on this topic, and thank you for watching.